Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Top Tier Talk. And it is the last game week before we are blessed with another international break. So, Chavez, Manchester United, take it away.
Really blessed. I don't think I've ever looked forward to an international break more. It's as if we're in war, and this is like our little surrender for a bit because we need time. We need time for players back. But we started the week with Galatasaray. It was a very interesting football match. Every emotion was felt by the United fans, especially. And it was just a game of two different things: attack being good, defense being poor. Inevitable because half our defense is out. It's very unprecedented, the situation. But still, there were some inexcusable mistakes, especially one from the goalkeeper, which cost Casemiro, and he's not going to play the next match. Højlund looked unbelievable. I just in disbelief that he really is a Man United fan, because if he was, anyhow smart, he would have probably ended up going to Arsenal or some other team, because this is risking his career. He is the difference for a lot of teams in this league. Having a player like that, there are teams that cry out for that. And he's got this God-given physique, which is just something else to talk about. But yeah, aside from that, Galatasaray were brilliant. They were clinical. And yeah, this manager is the same one that beat us with Istanbul Başakşehir that time, if you remember, when Demba Ba scored. So he's clearly got a number on us. And yeah, it's just an incredible game all around, I guess, for the neutrals, especially.
You guys going through in the Champions League after 2 defeats?
I don't believe so, no. I don't think so.
I got clowned when I put you third.
Well, you should still be clowned, because I don't even know if we can get third. I think people are really underestimating FC Copenhagen. Everyone is acting as if we are going to play. Copenhagen is our next 2 games, as if we're going to play them and get 6 points, when this is the same team that just restricted Barcelona to their first shot on target, almost at the end of the first half. They almost beat Galatasaray. It took a red card. This is a very good team. This is the Champions League. There's no such thing as easy games, which is what Arsenal fans learned, by the way, thinking they could just beat Lyon and get 6 points. But this is the Champions League, and unfortunately, losing the 2 games we have, it's done. The Galatasaray game, this one, there is no situation in which I counted for us to take 0 points from this and then go through. 0 points is crazy. So yeah, I think
this time last year when we were in the tournament, then we sacked Tommy T. We did lose to Zagreb, and we did lose to Milan, I think, or we drew with Milan. So it's not like it's the end, because it took us 2 games and we beat Milan back to back for us to be back, and we ended up coming second in the group. So it's not like,
yeah, it's not over. But I think the things we need to do are
still go through. I still got a feeling. Even I don't know what it
we have to. We have to beat Galatasaray away. We have to beat Bayern at home, and I just don't see us doing it.
What about the 6 points against?
That's not happening either. Copenhagen are not some joke team. This is what people don't understand about the Champions League. So I think it's too late now. These 2 results were. The second one is this Galatasaray result is demoralising. That Onana mistake is so detrimental. It costs us big time.
Are you eating your words right now? To be honest, are you your hipster opinion about getting rid of De Gea? Do you want De Gea back?
Okay, you're a Man United fan. Would you take De Gea back?
I think you should have kept
my keeper's doing this.
Why would you do that? Why would you not go for any other? Why is De Gea not employed? Okay, why is De Gea not employed by any other team? Why is De Gea not employed in League 2?
Why is his wage demand is too high for clubs?
No, how is Onana employed by your club?
No, your question is silly. Why are you asking about De Gea?
You brought Onana in for kicking. His kicking's probably been worse than De Gea's was all the last season.
Because of one mistake, one kicking mistake. De Gea used to make one every game.
You guys are battling for that Sevilla mistake.
Yeah, De Gea didn't make one. He made one every second game.
This could have cost you in the Champions League. Number 2, his handling is poor. He's got floppy wrists. We'll talk about the Brentford game. We'll talk about so many chances this guy's had, and he doesn't save. And one camera save against Wolves, and apparently he's a good shot stopper. Come on.
No one said he's a good shot stopper.
Come on, no.
What's he good at then?
He's very good with his feet.
Is that it? So it's a hipster opinion.
Would you describe Alisson? Would you describe Alisson as good with his feet when he made 2 catastrophic mistakes in the same match?
Alisson is decent with his feet. He's not one of the best.
No, but who's the best? Tell me someone who's the best.
But he saves games. When is
okay? No. Okay, tell me someone who is amazing with their feet.
Edison's amazing with his feet.
But Edison's made terrible mistakes with his feet. Mistakes happen.
Yeah, but he then backs it up when the Champions League final was saving them against Inter Milan.
Yeah, but Onana's not had the chance to do that.
Where's Onana backed up with game-winning saves? When's he done that?
Well, he's not.
How even kept a clean sheet off the Wolves at all? Probably haven't, have you?
We have in the Carabao Cup.
Floppy wrist, dodgy wrist.
To who? I was Palace.
Crystal
Oh,
Palace. Yeah. So would you, if you were the Man United manager, would you sell Onana in January?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't sack him. I'd bring De Gea back.
What are you on about? Why would you not get any other goalkeeper in the world?
Because
This is why your question is flawed. Get a goalkeeper out of League 2. Get a goalkeeper out of League 3. I'm sure there's one that plays well with their feet.
So that's Onana's level. A League 2 goalkeeper is better than him.
But Dean
No,
Henderson.
but why would you? No, I'm comparing him. No, I'm comparing him to De Gea. Why is no one in the world got De Gea right now? Why does it have to be De Gea?
The wage line's too high.
Okay, so why would we do that? Why not just get someone else? Why not just get someone else?
How do you know he's not had offers?
Well, why is he not gone then?
Because maybe he thinks he's still good enough to play in Europe.
Well, he's clearly not, and that argument. I think the word De Gea should not be coming out of your mouth.
You will be biting my hand off for De Gea right now. You should be. You should be biting my hand off for De Gea. It does make sense. Your keeper's been shit.
Okay, our keeper's been shit, and the only other goalkeeper available in the world to replace him is De Gea.
As a easy comes in on a short-term basis.
But we could just buy a goalkeeper for 10 million that's better than De Gea in League 2.
Who? In League 2? That's crazy.
There are goalkeepers better than De Gea.
Could have got Kepa in online.
There was a keepers, not in League 2.
Okay, are you claiming that De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world available right now?
No, I think for you in your short-term fix with this goalkeeper issue, De Gea is the most simple and easiest response to get. He's free agent.
I appreciate the sentiment behind it, but it's
money. You couldn't even buy Amrabat.
So we would go against our project and compromise it again with a goalkeeper who can't play with his feet.
Your project is failing. Your project is failing. You're a flop in the Champions League. There is no
because we have half our squad injured and we're still handling it.
But your keeper can't kick a ball or can't lump it up. That's your issue.
One. He did that. He made one mistake.
Cost you the game. Cost the game.
Okay.
You can't batter De Gea for one severe mistake, which is probably not even fully his fault. It's Maguire asking for the ball.
Do you think Onana's made more mistakes than De Gea?
In a short space of time, yeah.
Okay, you don't want Man United.
He made as much as memorable mistakes as De Gea did last season.
De Gea's whole game was a mistake. The way he would play, the way he would affect the team.
Because he couldn't kick, but he saved 17 clean sheets though.
So that would negatively affect us. Okay, what defense did De Gea have in front of him versus Onana? De Gea had Wan-Bissaka, Ryan Martinez and Shaw. Onana has not had that.
Oh, and that's the difference.
Onana had Evans and Maguire.
Johnny Evans has come in and looked like your best centre-back.
No, he's not. Maguire's looked really good.
Yeah,
Martinez was playing on an injury. Like even the Martinez that De Gea had versus the one Onana had. Martinez had Onana had a Martinez with a broken foot. It's just not the same. Unfortunately,
yeah, and that's the reason why he spilled against Bayern Munich. Why he kicks the ball, like that. Is that it? Dodgy wrist, all that. It's because of the defense.
Okay, give him some time, man. He's only been here.
Well, I'm giving him time, man. But if you want a short-term fix, De Gea is your short-term fix.
Such a stupid. Okay. But anyways, moving on to the next game, Brentford. Yeah. We did not deserve to win that game. Brentford outclassed us. Not outclassed us. To be fair, that's an exaggeration. They didn't actually do much, but they did look in control and comfortable out of possession. We didn't do much with our possession, but it was, to be honest, one thing I would say I love about football is it's very poetic. Sir Alex's wife, she passed away the day before, and of course, Sir Alex is Scottish. There is only one Scotsman in our squad right now, and he came on and scored twice in, dare I say, Fergie time. So that was quite poetic. I don't think anyone could have wrote that story. But yeah, he bailed us out. Maguire played really well. I think there's just a pecking order that always changes. Now, straight away, Maguire's ahead of Lindelof. If you want to play someone, you put Maguire because he performed well. Rashford was poor again. Rashford's getting subbed off sooner and sooner now in football matches. People have noticed the trend. Started with the 80th minute, went down to the 70th. Now it was the 60th, and it was brilliant because Garnacho came on and look what he did. The whole first goal came out of him. So Garnacho is pushing for that start. Hopefully he gets it. Right wing, we still have issues. Anthony, I don't know if he's got murder on his mind. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's coming back. We need players back. Apparently we've got Reguilon coming back, which is huge. We need that. Wan-Bissaka needs to come back right now because that whole back four is just a shambles. I know people say Evans and Maguire played well, which they did, but it's just not our back four. We had the low right back. Wan-Bissaka's our best right back. I don't even, who did we have a left back? We had Lindelof. We played Victor Lindelof at left back. And there was a time we used to complain about Maguire and Lindelof playing centre back. And now Lindelof's moved even further away to left back. It's just, we're in such a shambles. But I think Ten Hag has navigated this well. We're only 8 points away from the top. We're not completely in relegation. Would you say, okay, I would ask you a question. So that back four, the one that consisted of Dalot, Varane and Lindelof, sorry, Dalot, Varane, what am I saying, Varane? Runs even there. Delo, Maguire, Evans, and Lindelof at left back. Would you put that as a top? Where is that in the Premier League in terms of back fours?
About 15th.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I think Ten Hag is doing what he can with what he has. And hopefully with first team players back,
I
we
like
will see a different
Dalot.
Man
I thought
United.
Dalot was a good right back. I always
Well,
thought
yeah.
No, Delo's good, but he's not a first choice right back. Wan-Bissaka's better than him.
There's a time back in the day where you thought
I did, and then last year he was the best player in player ratings throughout the whole season. He changed
Obviously,
it.
you guys won in a Fergie time, fair enough. Obviously, we're going to talk about the dodgy wrists of Onana. I had a little debate with my brother. He thinks that he was short-sighted, but I think it was the middle of the goal. He should be getting a better wrist to that. What do you think of that one, Chavez? Another mistake to add to
just another mistake. I think he's really facing the pressure. I don't think he's ever faced pressure like this before. And that was going to happen with any Man United goalkeeper that comes in. They don't realize what the pressure is of being a Man United goalkeeper. I mean, if you've seen, it's only taken a few weeks and his Twitter replies were already like restricted. So it's a learning process. No one can say they're used to it until they actually get into it. And De Gea, more than most, has experienced it. I mean, when he first came in, he was a shambles at times. So I think it's a learning process, and I really do think he'll come out on top from this. I don't see another alternative. And once we get that actual back four that was promised to him in front of him, he will be more comfortable. This is all makeshift. And he has made mistakes. And of course, he holds responsibility to those mistakes. We will see how much they actually cost us this season.
Yep, fair enough.
Just one more thing as well, just to touch on. Obviously, you touched on Rashford getting subbed off earlier and earlier and earlier. Do you now agree with my statements over the previous years of Rashford isn't the same quality that all the Man United fans were hyping him up to be and thought he was?
What's the quality that Man United fans were hyping him up to? You've just generalised the whole fan base.
What did you think of Rashford? Did you think he was going to take this
I thought he was a very good player. I don't even think I've ever classified Rashford as world class.
Good. You're like franchise player, all this, that made.
Oh yeah, being the franchise player of Man United doesn't mean you're world class. It just means the rest of them are shit. So it just means we aren't like what we used to be. I think Rashford's the one thing that will always cost Rashford is his brain and how he uses it when it's in the final third. And if he ever improved on that, it would be extraordinary because his physique, his natural God-given ability, it's just brilliant. It's what you want from a winger, but he just doesn't use it in the right way. We will
way too inconsistent over the years.
And I asked you last week. I'll ask you. It could be a recurring question. Ten Hag, is he a ticking time bomb? Yes or no?
No, he's just not. He's not.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Move on. Amir, no Champions League, Europa League, or Europa Conference League for you. But on to the weekend.
3 wins in a row now. I've not experienced this for a very long time as a Chelsea fan. We went 1-0 down to Burnley, but the response was absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Sterling. What a game by him. He had a hand in every single one of the goals. Cole Palmer, another one. I think Cole Palmer is what Arsenal fans think Havertz is. Like, I'd slap another 50 to Man City now for Cole Palmer. That guy is absolutely class.
Why do you always need to give more money?
Can I pause you?
Because I feel so bad for being undercharging.
Can I pause you? I'm going to pause you.
How much was Palmer? How much was it?
42 minutes. Slap another 50. Honestly.
Okay, so you're saying Palmer is worth 92 million?
Plus Enzo is a bargain. Enzo's a bargain. And Cole Palmer is worth 92 million pounds. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying all of this honestly. Look, our team for the future is looking absolutely fantastic. Average age on that pitch was like 22, I think. Or there was a picture I saw, everyone was 22 or less. It's crazy the way we're playing right now. Went 1-0 down. Sterling doing his thing. Cole Palmer, the assist. Jackson getting a goal. We're doing good right now. I'm happy, to be honest. The most important thing is we didn't capitulate at 1-0 down. That's the main thing. We did that against Forest, Villa, etc. We can't do that. We usually do it against low blocks, but it was different. Sterling was on point as well. I have to be.
Can I ask? You just said Cole Palmer. I don't know if you mean in the future if he will be 92 million or if he will be now. Where does he rank in wingers in the Premier League right now? Cole Palmer.
Bro, the form's not. But we're doing like both wings, though, isn't it? So it's like hard.
Yeah, and just wingers. Yeah.
Top 20. Top 20.
Top 20. That's top 20. Would you say Cole Palmer is a better winger than Garnacho?
Yes, 100%. And it's not even his natural position. He's a 10.
Matoma?
He has. What's the GNA of Garnacho this season? Tell me.
Yeah, but he doesn't play. He barely
It
comes
doesn't
off the
matter if he
bench.
plays or not. Cole Palmer was coming off the bench until he was
Why are
worthy of a
you
start.
bringing up GNA? Like, it's just
Because
this is football
GNA is what
fans for
you
you
look
now.
at as
G
an
enhanced
attacker.
GNA. Watch with your
GNA,
eyes.
yeah,
Garnacho's a
Garnacho's
better player.
no, he's not. No, he's not. He's
Okay, who's a
definitely not.
better player?
Cole Palmer is smart.
Cole Palmer, or Anthony?
Cole Palmer, come on. Over Anthony.
Oh my
Come on,
days!
Shabazz now.
Well, because he's had 2 good games.
2 good games. Every game he's come on. Even the games where he was coming on against Forest for the last 10 minutes of the game, he was doing something. The vision is crazy. The guy's he's it. He's it.
What? Okay, what is Palmer's ceiling? Okay, if he's really this good, what is his ceiling?
Ballon
It's a high
d'Or.
ceiling. So no, I don't know about Ballon d'Or.
PFA Player of the Year, Ballon
Young player.
d'Ors.
It depends in the future. We never know. He's young as well. Young. Listen.
Okay, but what's his ceiling? You just said he's a £92 million
the
player.
way he thinks, the brain is nuts with him. The brain is crazy. The way he thinks, the passes he plays, the one touches, and he's so young as well. We've got so much potential with Palmer. So much potential.
So if Cole
Better than
Palmer,
Garnacho.
so
You sound like a Man United fan. This is giving me Elanga vibes.
Langa.
Yeah, because when Elanga came about, I wasn't one of those Man United fans. I said he's never going to make it, but United fans were treating him like he was the next.
Comes from Pep stock, like Pep players. It's the way he thinks. He doesn't think like a normal Chelsea.
So if you think Cole Palmer is worth £92 million, this is the final question, I'm guessing. He come from the Pep stock, as you just said. How much is Phil Foden worth?
It's definitely 100 million plus, isn't it?
So 100 million plus.
100 million plus.
So Foden is only worth £8 million more than Cole Palmer. Is it basically?
He said plus.
Yeah, but what was he worth? 500 million? Rough ballpark.
500 million? What are you talking about?
Was 100 less plus?
I'm doing my thing. I'm hyping up my guy, but
I'm hyping up my guy. What are you going to get him on the blower? Start giving him pre-match pep talks.
Listen. I understand with you. You ain't got nothing to be happy about with your football, but I'm seeing signs right now. I'm seeing good things. I'm seeing young players like 20, 21 years old, like doing bits right now.
I mean, we all reconvene when Cole Palmer is playing for Leeds in 4 years.
Leeds.
He's going to end up at Luton in 6 months.
The Dan James arc.
Rashford ain't getting into Aston Villa's team right now, though. Rashford ain't getting into Aston Villa's team.
Okay.
Listen, he's not. And Dan knows as well. We all know it. Back to the game, though. As I said, we've got international break coming. We only play one game. It's good now. We're just wanting all the rest of the players. I think Reece James is back for Arsenal game. Hopefully, Malo Gusto soon as well. But Cucurella, another one at right back, doing very well for what he was last season. I don't know if he's a new redemption art as a right back, like you said with Wan-Bissaka. He came back last season. I don't know if this is going to be similar because I thought we wanted to flog him in January. And you guys were after Cucurella as well, weren't you? In the summer.
But we didn't care. Terrible baller.
Terrible baller, of course. And you got regular done. I mean, another one. The only probably criticism I have with Chelsea, I think Thiago Silva, I said this in the player ratings, he's getting I think his age is catching up to him. I do want to see Disasi and Levi Colwell or Badiashile if he's back, because I know Disasi, Badiashile was the Monaco back line. I want to see them two there, to be honest. That's the only criticism I have. And I think we're going to be looking to flog Ben Chilwell as well soon. I've got a feeling. I don't know if he's out of favour. I think a left back is what we might be going for in the future. Yeah. It's just rumours I've seen. I feel like.
All right. Newcastle?
Yeah, it's Newcastle.
Let's start on with the loud merchants.
I'm just going to be honest. PSG are crap. PSG suck. I know what it is. Like, they obviously don't have the superstars, the Messis, the Neymar, the names anymore, but I know what it is. Mbappe didn't turn up.
Dan Burn masterclass. Build him a statue.
Do you think PSG could win the Europa League this year?
Well, yeah, it's the only European trophy they can get close to.
If PSG were to get into the Europa League and find their way into third, that would be very interesting. It would be a good way for them to win some European trophy.
Liverpool. They'd find it hard. They'd come up against Liverpool at some point, I reckon.
That's a good matchup, you know.
Yeah. And it's the whole cliche of Liverpool and European nights, but that would be...
We're having Mbappe's conversation. He's nearly 25 and he's still in the French league. Like, he has to leave this summer. What is wrong with him? Why is he still there? It's got to be the money, right?
I don't even think it's that. Yeah. It's because he rejected the money to Saudi, isn't it? I think he's just control over a club. With Mbappe, it's a case of he really now in the summer needs to make a decision, because if he stays one more year at that stupid football club, they're not even top of League One right now. Then I don't know what he wants in life. He's not even been on the podium yet. He's not been in the top 3 Ballon d'Or. But going away from those idiots, Newcastle, absolutely just beyond. Is there a stadium more scary than Newcastle's when they're up for it?
Yeah.
Anfield.
I think Newcastle are up there with Anfield. I think Anfield first, then Newcastle. St James's Park has formerly known.
The old Berlin ground.
I remember Anfield on when they won 4-0 against Barca.
Yeah.
That game, they were. I think that you're right. Newcastle, what a fantastic family. Maybe you are right with St James's Park. Maybe they do love their football, innit?
They suffocate their away fans as well. They're like right in the top corner, out the way of everything, out the way. It's just home fans in the lower bowl.
I was going to make a point. I think Kieran Trippier is the best right back in the world right now. What are you laughing at? Name another one better than him.
What, right? Are you going to play this right?
No, not even right this second. Okay. Over the last 3 weeks,
what I thought you were going to do.
Over the last month or so, in this season, do you know what? This season, Kieran Trippier has been the best right back in the world. The guy's a creative machine. He's part of a Newcastle team that's just overachieving beyond anything. Newcastle have just had the most extraordinary 2 weeks where they've gone to Milan and come out with a draw. They've beaten Man City. They've just beat a team, what was it, 8-0 or something. Sheffield, now they've just beat PSG at home. Like, this is unbelievable. And it is unprecedented seeing Newcastle playing like this. If I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be over the moon. And yeah, I think Kieran Trippier has been instrumental in that. And for me, he's the best right back in the world.
Right back in the world.
Yeah.
I don't even put Paul Walker up there in terms of creativity there. No. Even in Europe, I can't think.
It's actually it's a good point. Like, it's just been
Kunde, I believe, until he got injured.
Arsenal have Ben White, who doesn't like football.
Bless him.
Can't play football that well,
maybe Bayern, but Mazraoui didn't even start against Man United, so he's clearly they don't even have a best right back amongst themselves.
Best players against lower opposition.
Hakimi's overrated.
Trips is the best right back in the world right now. I agree.
So
I don't understand it with Trips though, because do you remember he was at Spurs in the last season? He was absolutely dog crap at Spurs.
He was injured, wasn't he? He got injured before he left.
He was getting booed and all this stuff. They weren't liking him, and then he obviously went to Milan. Not to Milan, to Atletico, and maybe crafted his defending there, or like.
And see, a Simeone ball is just low block, just stand and defend.
Yeah.
Onto the West Ham game at the weekend.
Yeah, I can't lie to you.
West Ham Newcastle.
I thought Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off. That's probably a couple of dodgy calls this weekend as well in terms of red cards. We'll obviously go into the Kovacic one, but Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off as well. They got lucky there. Isaac again balling it out.
I was about to touch on that.
Right time. Yeah.
Was that a foul? I saw a clip of him nudging. Was it Agad in the back? I don't know if you've seen it or not from the behind angle.
I don't think that was a foul, but I think he should have got the hat trick though. The one where he went around the keeper and he hit the post, he should be scoring that. But can we talk about West Ham and Kudus? Why is he not starting for West Ham? That guy's a baller. Like, I would have taken him at Chelsea. I mean, you would have taken him probably at United. Or
Arsenal would have taken him, at their number 8 spot. I think he'd be better than Havertz.
He's not even starting. He comes on 15 minutes to go and gets that vital goal to make it 2-2. And when he's on, that's when West Ham start thriving.
Who's instead of him?
They're doing a midfield. No, Paqueta's always going to be in the team. They put Paqueta on the right. It's Souček, Alvarez, the Edson Alvarez, and
Ward-Prowse.
Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, Alvarez, and Souček.
But then where's Bowen playing?
Right wing.
Bowen's playing.
So where's Paqueta playing?
Paqueta's
left.
Oh, okay.
It'd be Ward-Prowse would be by process of elimination, would be him.
No, it was Souček that came off for him. But the only thing is because Souček is
he also scored, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did also exactly. Maybe for Ward, but even Ward-Prowse is assisting like every other game now. So
yeah, it's good. Good competition. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're doing all right there. In terms of Newcastle, where do you think? Do you think they could finish out that group, or do you still think this is just like so early on? They've got 4 points. Do you think they're going to go down to Europa? Do you think they'll come back? Because that's the group of death, isn't it? With Milan and
even 4 points is massive in that group. Considering Milan are on 2 points, Dortmund are on 1. 4 points is massive.
Yeah,
I think they need 5 more points, and I think they'll get that. I think 9 is. You'd be very
Will they
unlucky in
be-
the Champions League to go out with 9. And I think they should get 3 points either from playing Milan or Dortmund at home. There's 3 points for one of them. All they have to do is beat one of them. Lose to PSG, calm, get a draw out of even 8 points. I think they've done it. I think it's already done.
They're not finishing bottom of the group, so at worst, they're still in Europe, which for them in that group is phenomenal. I think most people put the bottom.
They won UCL. They won UCL.
Oh yeah, 100%. But to still, most people, I can't what we put them at.
Oh yeah,
Most
I
people
said they
think
come bottom. I
bottom,
can't
yeah.
believe what I'm seeing. Yeah,
Crazy how Newcastle are probably the bar Man City, the most successful team in Europe so far, and you've got giants like Man
Oh
United.
no, West Ham. West Ham are the most successful team in the history
Yeah,
of Europe.
but the West Ham fan, you got to look at it with a tongue in cheek. They've never been in the Champions League. It's always been if one of
Well,
our
West
clubs-
Ham have never lost a European match in their history.
17 games. No, they've lost European games. They haven't lost in 17 games or something like that since the start of last season. They haven't lost a game.
Go and look at that. There's not Champions. If they're Champions League, they'll be losing way more. You got to look at that. Like,
Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
of course, yeah.
it's a bit. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters, Dan.
No, but they ain't gonna care.
Obviously, they don't care, but you got
Yeah.
to look at that as well.
It's like context, isn't it? You can't just say.
But it's also they're in. No, but it's also
when they say
they're
they're
in that
champions-
competition because that's their level. That's where they're qualified. They're pissed. Well, I say
No,
pissed.
no, but if they go up to the top level, it's a different game. It's like them saying they're champions of Europe. All right, sure, but it's actually Man City. Like you can chant at that for the sake of it, innit? But it's Man City,
Yeah.
innit?
Because then, like even
we-
Sevilla could make the argument that they're.
Yeah,
Champions of Europe, yeah.
we view football and success obviously for clubs like West Ham, coming from a Watford fan, but smaller clubs that aren't your expected top 6 clubs. None of them fans are going to care. If you went up to any West Ham fan and went,
Oh, of course they don't care. But that's what I'm telling you.
and that's what football's about. It's fans more than another fans pointing out.
Yeah, but you don't accept their mental illness.
Dan does though, obviously.
Going to get a lot of mental illness supporting Man United. Any other major talking points? Anyone say Basham's injury?
Arsenal.
I suppose
Well, that Basham.
Oh,
that was
disgusting.
horrible. Chavez as a doctor, thoughts?
He's going to be out for a few weeks, Jeff.
Can we talk about Paul Merson and Mike Dean?
Do you know what the funny part is? Mike Dean was actually right in that argument. I don't know what Paul. I think it's because he kind of referred to Paul Merson and said ex-players like you or whatever he said. It just pissed Paul Merson off. But he was very irrational in that whole argument. Merson was irrational. But if you want to look at it from like he got to shout at referee's point of view, great. But he was wrong in that argument.
Why was he wrong though? Because I like his point on you're not a player, you're not an ex-player. We always say this: get an ex-player in VAR. It's different.
The thing is, what Mike Dean was saying was that there is a law in place. Obviously, by getting the decision wrong, they've gone against the law. But then you can't just then go 2 laws again. This is why the laws need to change then. Because what he was saying was, okay, they've broken one law and made the incorrect decision. They can't now break a second law within a minute and bring the game back, which I disagree with that law. But in that moment, they couldn't do it because that would be 2 rules broken. Which, again, from Paul Merson's point of view, like no one cares, just do it. But they have to follow the law.
You go on to the big game of the weekend, I guess.
I was just going to take my weekly dig that no one cares about. Congratulations for Tottenham Hotspur beating Luton 1-0 and going to the Premier League. But yeah, moving on to Arsenal.
Ange was in full effect, you know.
Big shout out to Ange. 4 of his 6 wins in the Premier League so far are against the 4 teams that are at the bottom of the Premier League.
At least they're winning games.
True. But they have their first 11 too. So.
But yeah, so we touched on Arsenal obviously in midweek, losing to the Farmers, as everyone.
The camera equipment. They lost to Lens, isn't it? Lens and that.
Camera equipment.
We'll just talk about Arsenal. We've said this before. They're not European giants. They have no pedigree in this competition. They're in it for during the first game they had the geezers crying because he heard the Champions League anthem and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like you give them that moment, but they're not going to do anything in this competition at all.
Yeah.
The nicest way possible.
The thing is, they took a lot of it for granted, and then they ended up losing to contact lenses twice. Well, now they could lose again. They lost to that, and the thing is, they took this for granted. They thought going to contact lenses away would get them a win, and as if it's some automatic win, and they didn't. So they'll slowly learn about Europe. They're new to this.
That guy who's very sought after, isn't it? Is it Wahi away? He's a young. I'm gonna find his name.
Contact lens. Any more slander names for a team that won in Europe this week?
Nah. But I'm just glad that they are learning. Their players are young; they'll learn about away, not taking games for granted away from home in the Champions League.
Wahi, you lot heard of him? Like a really sought after.
Yeah,
So,
onto the final fixture of the Super Sunday, I suppose. Now, after we've laughed at Contact Lens and Arsenal Football Club, Arsenal 1, Man City 0. Controversial round. Lucky goal.
I hope that is the worst Big Six game of the season because that was so bad. And if any game is worse than that, then God help us all. Pep has 2 players missing, and this is how Man City played. They did not look like they were going to do anything. And I know Arsenal get a lot of praise for their defense, but I'm sorry, that was on Pep and his tactics. And I don't know, him not being able to adjust without Rodri. A lot of these players owe a lot to Rodri because Rodri clearly is a very important part of the team.
obviously,
Yeah.
should have got sent off. Another mistake. It wasn't a straight red, any of them, but there were 2 yellows definitely. So
100%.
Yeah.
kind of things would have been sent off. In the game, what did he do differently? He put Rico Lewis in, didn't he? That he doesn't usually do.
I mean, Doku was benched.
Doku was benched. I thought
He's been
Stand
quite
out
strong.
player.
Yeah, that's a weird decision. He's been really strong when he was against West Ham.
overthinking, yeah, he's just an overthinker again. Rice played a good game. Rice, a couple of Arsenal fans telling me, speaking to them, they think Rice is worth all the money they paid for him. Obviously, we always have disagreements about players ever being worth 100 million. I think Rice has probably been.
Time will tell. But if Rice wins anything like a Premier League or a Champions League, then straight away he's worth it. He's future Arsenal captain. You can tell.
And the goal as well, very, very fortunate to be fair. But
Make your own luck. And say it all the time.
Yeah.
And Man City can't complain because did you see Arsenal's front three at the start of that game? It wasn't their best front three either. So Man City can't complain.
The Arsenal fans with them, they're not happy. Obviously, Nketiah is not good enough. Also, Jesus as well. They need Tony. Tony will be so big for that team.
Yeah.
They get Tony, I could be really scary, I think.
This is what I mean. I was saying, if Arsenal, I know Højlund is a United fan, he ended up with United. If Arsenal had Højlund, they'd win the Premier League this season.
Such a Man United statement. Man.
No, Højlund is.
You never help yourself.
Chavez, last season, did you not say you were a Harry Kane signing away from winning the league?
Yeah.
You've now got your striker, who's not quite.
Yeah,
Harry
but
Kane.
No, but Arsenal didn't need a level of Harry Kane because Arsenal's first team is quite good. They just needed a Højlund type profile. If, for example, Haaland as well. If Arsenal have a Haaland, you're seeing what Haaland is doing now. The moment you don't create for the guy, he's non-existent. But I think Højlund would get so much chances put on the plate for him, and at Arsenal he'd excel. But not to be for them.
Same with Nicholas Jackson. Further on to the thing. The only thing I could say, well, I remember the last game before the World Cup. I don't know if you guys remember last year. Man City lost to Brentford, and I think Arsenal built a little lead at the top, and everyone was like, "Oh, could Arsenal do it? Arsenal this after World Cup and stuff." And then City came back, well, absolutely ruthless and didn't lose the game, did they? So
Rodri's going to be back. The key thing, Rodri's
back.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They're going to get a big bollocking of Pep and stuff. I bet they're going to come back even stronger and win by a bigger lead this time.
Who have they got off the international break?
It doesn't matter. They've got us in a few weeks.
They've got Man United.
Brighton is at home, but Brighton's the next game.
Yeah, but they could destroy Brighton.
They could, but Brighton could also.
Brighton have been shit. Brighton are doing terribly, except they drew Liverpool. But before that, they were doing poor for 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Another team struggling in Europe, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, just learning about Europe.
Your star boy there not being that much of a star, is he, Pedro?
Yeah, scoring goals in Europe.
Literally a pen merchant.
He's winning the penalties there. He's the one that's winning the pens. But
he's got an argument ready.
Amir, how many goals have your striker scored in Europe this season? I say your clubs.
Not your striker, Dan.
That's why I said your club.
What are you on about? Wait, are you claiming that you're a fan of Brighton?
Oh, I'm a fan of João Pedro. Is what I am.
So you're a player.
You're a player fan.
Yeah, 100%.
You are the problem with football.
Oh, you're gonna. I'm stunned. That statement has come from a man that said Man United are one player away from winning the Premier League.
When Harry Kane, yeah, I said Chelsea were Harry Kane away from winning the Premier League.
Right now, if you had Harry Kane, your team is still not winning anything.
Obviously, this isn't our first 11. I didn't expect us to get half our squad injured.
With Rashford, Rashford, Anthony, no chance. On Sancho as well, do you think he's definitely going to be leaving in January? I know I didn't mention him, but do you reckon back to
Yeah.
Dortmund?
I mean, he's been watching the under-18s play recently. Got a break from his FIFA. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. I really worry about the people that are around Jadon Sancho, because if you really were genuinely his mate or his friend or his family, sister, brother, I don't know what you are to him, you would surely tell him to sort his life out, because he's about to leave Man United. Well, this is what's going to happen if he doesn't apologise. Maybe it might be even too late to apologise. But what will happen is Sancho will leave Man United and go to a team that is not as good as Man United, that most likely, unless it's Saudi, will not pay as well as Man United. This might be the end of sort of his career in the sense of his highs. I don't see him starting for Chelsea. I don't see him starting for Man City, for Arsenal, any of the big six. Mitoma would start over him for Brighton. I mean, Jared Bowen's a better player than Sancho. That's West Ham. Aston Villa are better wingers than, like, where would Sancho even come in when it comes to
I'll go back to
wingers?
Dortmund, and I think that makes sense.
Maybe, but that's such a drop off for a player who was doing so well in the Champions League. Like,
Crazy for you guys. We're chasing a player for 2 years, didn't get him in that window, cried your eyes out, didn't get him. Finally,
good
went
riddance. That sort of attitude is just it reeks.
Another thing as well, when we after finish Glazers, this, that, Glazers out, gets the player flops, all that stuff. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has a lot to say about United as well in his interview with Piers Morgan. He said the Glazers have been forking out money for players. You've had incomings and such.
That's not their money. They have been paying.
Someone that's been in the club. What do you think of his points on United then?
Well, David Beckham said quite the contrary in the last week, and he said United should sell to people who actually care about the club more. People don't understand what it means when we say that the Glazers are not investing. We want them to put their own money into the club and stop taking dividends out and putting us into further debt. Or at the very least, put your own money that you've made from United into the club and get us out of debt. It's your business, right? They don't care about the business. So ultimately, we are the ones that are affected because we will continue to be in a stadium of a team that's not top six. I would argue Watford Stadium is nicer because you do have screens. And yeah, it's just embarrassing.
The screens of teams in League One is Old Trafford is literally falling apart, like the song goes. At many stadiums, but that is it from us this week. We'll be back next week, rounding up the international break that we all love so much. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.